directly operate on Oahu and Kauai. So on the next slide, you'll see who is joining us today. If you just had scrolled through, sorry, it was one before, you can see there's 11 credit unions joining us this morning. We're so honored for your support and for your partnership and your trust in what the Hawaii food banks are doing across our state to support our community and those who are hungry or food insecure. We're going to talk about food insecurity a little bit later, but just so you have a working definition in your head. If you are food insecure, you have some uncertainty of how you are going to put food on the table for your family. You may be stretched, you may be doing it, but if one thing happens, if you get a nail in your tire, if gas goes over $5 a gallon, all of these things affect families who are just getting by, as well as those who have been financially struggling due to different environmental conditions that they might be operating in. The slide that Tammy had switched to before actually talks about our mission and what we do in our community. And I'll tell you, if anybody's been part of any of our kickoffs or food drives before, you might be looking at them and be like, wait, that is a different mission than I remember seeing. I remember seeing a mission that described what the food banks do. And that's absolutely true. We've spent the last 6 months working on a strategic plan. And this is our new mission statement that just debuted on the 1st of July. And what it does is it encompasses some additional strategies or strategic pillars that we're going to talk about later on in our presentation. But when you look at that mission and the vision and the values combined, you will see we are still doing the same work. In fact, we're doubling down on our commitment to the community. You'll also notice in those values, those 3 words, integrity, humanity, and aloha, may sound familiar. And that's because they are from our old mission statement. And those values are things that we hold true to the work that we do. And they have bridged into this new mission statement and or statement declaration of our work. The next slide talks about how long we have been doing this, and it says 39 years, which, man, wouldn't it be way cooler if this was a milestone year? On December 6th of this year, we will actually turn 40 years old. And if there's one question that I would love to ask our founder, it's like, why didn't you wait 3 weeks and start off 1983 fresh? But we were founded on December 6, 1982. And we've been really committed to the community for decades. You can see that we are serving 1 in 6 people. That is an unbelievable number. And it is something that we are not comfortable with. And I know you aren't either. The very fact, think about everybody on this call. We're talking about 1 in 6. That means that there is a very great likelihood that someone that we know, our family, our friends, our neighbors, our cousins, may be affected by food insecurity. And because shame is so deeply integrated in food assistance needs, a lot of times we don't know. So we will talk about that coming up also. You'll also see 54,000 kids, and I will tell you some of the things we're doing about it later. This slide talks about our affiliation with Feeding America. Hawaii Food Bank is the official food bank for the entire state. That means that we are held to the highest standards of food safety, financial, operating, like everything about the work that we do is held to the highest standards. I mentioned that we serve Oahu and Kauai directly, but we partner with Maui Food Bank. I see Chelsea's on this call. We partner with Maui Food Bank for Maui County and the Food Basket for Hawaii Island. And together we are the food bank network for the state of Hawaii. For Hawaii Food Bank, part of our certification also means that we are inspected by an organization called AIB, and AIB will come in, and they come in with a flashlight, and they are looking for every single evidence, documentation to show that we are completely committed to food safety. They are looking for not only food preservation, food safety, they're also looking for food defense. And food defense means that we are doing everything proactively to make sure that any food coming into our warehouse and moving out of our warehouse is safe for people to eat. I want to talk about who's eating the food, because a lot of times we talk about the work that we're doing, and you're part of a food drive. You're helping us to get food in. But there is a family, there's an individual on the other side of that food. And I just want to talk a little bit. And I know sometimes, like when we're doing tables, that darker bar is are like column headings. This is not, this was just the easiest way that we could depict some of the groups that we're serving. And you will see that you may wonder, like, what does that underemployed mean? Underemployed means that somebody is working full-time and in a lot of cases multiple jobs, but they are still not making enough to make ends meet. Or maybe they're working in an industry that gives them not enough hours or doesn't provide benefits past what is lawfully regulated. You can see that a lot of the folks that we serve, they're families, right? Or related to families. We serve individuals as well as families. And for some of the people that are coming to get food from any of our food banks, they are then taking it home to multiple people and sometimes multiple generations. One of the things that's absolutely key to us, you will see, is equity. And we've heard a lot about equity over these past couple of years. But for the food banks, what equity means is that everybody who needs food should be able to access food. One of the things that we're doing now is we're looking at data. And in a few weeks, the new Map the Meal Gap data will be coming out. We're looking forward to seeing that and seeing how the work that we're doing is affecting the community. We took the last Map the Meal Gap data and we got a GIS data specialist, because I don't know, I'm not like great with all of this data. It's useful, it helps us in storytelling, it helps us to understand what we're doing. But when we're looking at multiple pieces of data and pulling them together, we needed help and we got some help. And what we were looking at is, what does hunger look like? When we look at this, when we see 1 in 6, we want to make sure that everybody that needs food has access to it. So we took all of our distributions and we laid that over where the census tracts, where zip codes, where different service areas, where congressional districts were telling us the need is, because we are bound and determined to make sure that we serve everybody that's needed. We just got a new contract called Reach and Resiliency, and we specifically applied to get emergency food to people who may not know. One of the unusual things that happened during the pandemic is shame was released. So many people were in need at one time that some people, they got food because everybody else was, and they didn't feel that shame anymore. But as our economy has started to recover some, I just don't want people to move back into the shadows. We want our community to be healthy and strong, because some of the decisions that people in need have to make, as you'll see in the next slide, there are no decisions at all. When you consider, like, what am I going to do? Am I going to buy food, or am I going to get my prescriptions this month? And when we talk to some of our kupuna, they're telling us stories like they shouldn't have to cut a pill in half because they're trying to stretch between the time they get it. They shouldn't have to say, like, I'm just going to do every other pill. Like, it'll keep my blood pressure down enough that it won't be an emergency. People shouldn't have to make those kinds of decisions. And thanks to your help with this food drive, they're not going to have to. I want to now talk about food coming in, food going out. Let's talk about food coming in first. If you have been a food drive coordinator before, you will know that previous to the pandemic, about 90% of the food coming in was donated. That is not the case. Since the pandemic, we all saw Hawaii people, we know how to react when there's an emergency, right? We wipe out the shelves because hurricane drills every single year have taught us what to do. So that happened. But if retailers don't have things to sell, they don't have things to donate. Then supply chain issues came in, which we're still dealing with. And as we've seen, we've had to purchase more and more and more food to make sure that we're able to take care of that pipeline. In the past, we've served that number, that ratio that we've talked about, that 1 in 6 used to be 1 in 10. But as the need grew, so did that distribution pipeline to make sure that food was moving into the community. We've had to purchase more and more. What was a food purchasing annual budget of $400,000 before the pandemic, just to allow us to buy things that didn't come in the right quantity, like rice. Rice never comes in the quantity that we need, because Hawaii, we are rice loving people. So we buy container loads of rice, but now we're buying container loads of rice, and we're buying container loads of tuna, and we're buying produce from our local farmers, something we'll hear about more. But $400,000 a year became $1 million a month during the height of the pandemic. And we're still spending $500,000 a month. So we are still spending more in a month than we used to spend in a year. And that's why this food and fund drive, it matters so much. You guys are helping us to put food on the table for our friends and neighbors. When we talk about then, how does it go out? This is how it comes in, and this is how it goes out. We distribute, you can see the bulk of it are primarily in 2 different categories. Food pantries are in our neighborhoods. They might be in the next block from where we live. They are run by nonprofits. They're run by churches. They're in every single community. There's a wide variety of distribution, open times, hours throughout the week. And that's part of the reason why on our website, if you know of somebody who needs food, if you just want to check it out, go to hawaiifoodbank.org/help and scroll down, and you will see the food assistance sheets that will break it up by geographic areas. It will show you times that our food pantries are open, and some are open. You're able to call and schedule an appointment. But Ohana Produce Plus is something that you've seen in the community. If you'll remember, during the pandemic, we had those mass distributions that were widely covered by the media. Think of Ohana Produce Plus as a mini mass distribution. It also happens in the community. People are able to come to get a wide variety of food. And as you can see by the title, and it includes fresh produce. One of the things that happens with our pantries is sometimes if you think about a food pantry, it might be in a room in a nonprofit. Sometimes it's in a closet that has been locked up for security. Sometimes it's an area, it is storage cabinets that get opened, but it doesn't always contain refrigeration. And we've been doing surveys with our partner agencies, over 200 of them just on Oahu and Kauai. And then Maui Foodbank also has partner agencies, as does the Food Basket. We've been doing surveys to say, what do you need? And over 50 partners told us we need help with cold storage. Either we don't have it at all, it's old and it's falling apart, or what we have is working, but it's not big enough for what we need. So we're currently fundraising, working with funders, trying to be able to supply that, because we know that fresh produce is a key to a healthy diet. We're helping to do that. This one, I love that Tammy put it up early so you're able to see. This one is dense with information, but one of the key things that we would like you to take away from this is that for us, fresh produce matters. And over 5 million pounds of produce went out. We're currently also monitoring that, because we're seeing, and we've been really pushing produce out the door. We know that it's key to a balanced diet. And right now, between 25 and 30% of what we're moving is produce. Our goal is to get that to 50%. And this will also provide you with some help. If that URL, hawaiifoodbank.org/help, is difficult to remember or you can't remember it when you're talking with someone, please refer people to 211. 211 also has access to the information. The key is to make sure that everybody gets the food that they need. We talked earlier about like the general public, and the general public is served in this way, but we also serve our vulnerable folks at both ends of the chronological scale. Let's first talk about our keiki. We'd mentioned over the number of people, the number of kids that need help. There was a time a couple of years ago when we actually had the distinction of being projected as having the second highest rate of child food insecurity in the nation. We know that family ohana, taking care of our keiki and our kupuna, that is key, and that is an integral part of Hawaii's culture. And we are working, all of the food banks across the state have programs specific for keiki. I want to tell you about a couple of ours. We used to have a backpack program, and that served 2 schools, every single student. It was completely privately funded. That meant it was not scalable financially, as more and more schools were calling us and asking for help. We were hearing stories like, in my classroom, kids are coming in on Monday and they're so tired, and I'm asking them like, what's happening? And they haven't eaten since Friday lunch. Our school system provides really critical meals for so many families in our community. So our school pantry program, which is what we evolved Backpack to make it scalable, now has, we have storage cabinets. And one storage cabinet is filled with snacks. And our distributions happen after school. After school, it's been several hours since our kids have had anything to eat at lunch. So it offers granola bars, fruit cups, things that kids are able to just grab and immediately consume so that they are not hungry. But the other cabinets have bags of food, as you can see, that kids are able to take home. And when I say kids, it's because I'm older. And I'm talking elementary school, middle school, high school, and college. And one of the things that we found out, shame is part of this, and young kids, you know, they have no problems telling you their needs in elementary school. But in middle school, kids stop talking much more about that. Shame seems to enter middle school culture. So by the time we get to high school, we tuck the school pantry no longer in a side room or in the cafeteria. Usually it's in the health room. Because teenagers, they don't have any issues saying, I have a headache. They do have an issue saying, I'm hungry. So we're going to put the food where the food can easily be seen. Our senior farmers market program, that works on the other side of the chronological scale. There's a couple of programs I want to talk about that all of our food banks are working with. Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program, which is a lot of words, so you can tell it's government funded. And this is a program through the USDA, and it helps us to provide $50 worth of vouchers to low-income eligible seniors to go to farmers markets. And there they can buy all the fresh produce that they prefer. They can buy herbs, they can buy honey. We still have some eligible applications in this program available for this program year. So if you know of anybody that could use this program, it would be helpful for them. There is some eligibility, but you can just go on our website. You can see hawaiifoodbank.org and then go to the programs, and you will see the application from there as well as the eligibility. The other program that we run year-round, not like that 9-month program, is our Senior Food Box program, also known as the Commodity Supplemental Food Program, because this provides supplemental, mostly shelf-stable foods for low-income seniors, again, in partnership with the Office of Community Services through the USDA. And what this provides is things like There's 2 boxes of cereal. There's usually a starch, and 1 month it might be rice. The next month it might be mashed potato flakes. It might be noodles. It could be a variety of things. There's cans of vegetables. There's cans of fruit. There is UHT milk. Every other month there's also some dried milk. There is cans of like tuna or peanut butter, or sometimes it's chicken or roast beef. There is a wide variety, and it is meant to be supplemental, to be put in people's pantries to be able to help them work through the month. There's a couple of other things that this program offers. One, there's a block of USDA cheese that goes with them. And then you can see on that top, you see that bag of produce. We're currently running a pilot project, and it is privately funded, which means that we need the donations and the grants to help us to fund this program. But it provides an 8 to 10 bag of mixed, fresh, farm direct produce that we are dropping on, because this program is fantastic, but it is missing fresh produce. So we work with our farmers, we work with some of our donors to try to provide it. We're currently providing it in six pilot programs, and we are fundraising to try to expand it to all the seniors that are getting it are telling us that it's really helpful. And it is more perishable, but we are buying more resilient produce for that program. Overall, really what we're trying to say is we're here to meet the community need. So I put together this slide just to kind of show you what that's meant over these past couple of years. This represents Oahu and Kauai. This does not include Maui Foodbank and the food basket. So as you can imagine, that number would only grow if I showed what was happening statewide through all of your food banks. And if you look at what has happened for the amount of food that has needed to go into the community to be able to sustain us, it is crazy. And we just finished our fiscal year, and I think we are back to, we're still working on the numbers, but I think we're back to like the 2020 numbers. I think we're cresting 18 million again. And the need is still high. We're still working on things. And that need has been sustained. As you'll see on the next slide, Feeding America, it's estimated that that need is going to be elevated for the next couple of years. I put a note on that. The 2008 recession, when the Feeding America looked at what food insecurity numbers were when the recession started, and then they mapped how long did it take to get back to those numbers. How long was that need increased? It was a decade. And I can absolutely commit to you that part of the reason that we changed that mission statement, we'll talk more about the strategic plan, is because we do not want recovery from the pandemic to take 10 years. I completely understand if you took your savings and you needed that to pay your rent or your mortgage, if you took loans on your 401k or you used your credit card, it will take a while to recover from that. But Hawaii is a strong and resilient community, and we will make sure, all of us working together, that it will not take 10 years. And one of the ways that we do it is through partnerships. The credit unions are partnering with us through this food and fund drive. We're partnering with other organizations to make sure that we're able to respond and be so much stronger. In 2020, when everything shut down in March, restaurants, hotels, everything shut down. But for the farmers who used those organizations and those institutions as their customers, they had food ready to harvest, and now their customers had disappeared. Hawaii Food Bank, we committed $200,000 to purchase all of that so the food wouldn't go to waste. We moved it immediately into the community, and now it's feeding our community instead of our visitors. And it just, we needed that program not to end. So we started fundraising, writing grants, everything like crazy. And we have continued that partnership. You can see at the bottom, more than 7 million pounds of fresh produce. Still to this day, every single week, we are purchasing tens of thousands of dollars of farm direct produce to move that into our community. It's doing a couple of things. It's supporting our farmers. It's supporting our ag industry. It's helping to keep the farm workers employed, but it's also providing, instead of produce only, like the best, freshest produce going to our visitors, our community, our families, our neighbors are also eating it, and we're committed to keeping that going. The next slide talks about that strategic plan. I'm just going to take a couple of minutes just to walk through the changes that we've made. Collaborative partner, we're committed to that. Ways that we're showing that, I've actually already talked about. We are currently fundraising to provide, to give our partner agencies the fresh cold storage that they need, so that they're able to have fresh produce. So they are able to bring in also dairy products, other perishable items to be able to distribute through those pantries. We also, there's a shared maintenance cost. It's something Feeding America allows us to charge 9 cents, 18 cents. On items to help offset all of our cost of the trucks and the staff and volunteers that are helping to inspect everything, the cost of our warehouse. And that was about $500,000 a year. We've eliminated that in April. We totally took that away. And we're shouldering that burden. We will raise that extra money because we don't want our partners, we would hear them sometimes when they would come in. And they had, for some of the smaller churches, they'd pass the hat to say, we want to go to Foodbank, our food pantry needs stuff. We're probably going to need 30 or 40 bucks. They shouldn't have to do that. We will raise that money. We want to be a better partner. We want to make sure that folks go into the pantries and they're able to get the food that they need, not just what our partner agencies were able to afford. It's part of that equity. Some of our partner agencies, they are resourced, strong, larger nonprofits in our community. And on the other end of that scale, but equally important, are some smaller nonprofits or churches that don't have the resources. They don't have the resources monetarily, but they also don't have staff resources. And everybody who's working on their food distribution programs are volunteers. We want to help them be stronger. We've always helped in disasters. We are actually working to put that down on paper. We've always helped, whether it was the temporary government shutdown, whether it's a large-scale pandemic, whether it is an island-specific flooding on Kauai, lava on Hawaii Island. We're just making it legit. We are in the process of signing a MOU with Oahu's Department of Emergency Management to be the lead food partner for the island of Oahu. We're working with American Red Cross to sign an MOU to say they're responsible for the shelters. We're going to help make sure to partner with them. Sometimes when they have the shelters, the community with the most generous hearts will come and will hand them food, but the Red Cross, they don't have food safety training. They're now going to give that to us. We will help supply them. We will take care of that donated food and get it back out. The healthy option, I talked about what we're doing with fresh produce. We're also going to be doing some work on nutrition. And vocal advocate, that is that work with ending hunger. We want to help. A lot of the people that we serve, they're eligible for SNAP. We want to help not diminish, eliminate shame in our culture. That's part of our culture, but we want to call out the courage that it takes to do whatever it takes to feed your family. The families that are coming to us and to any of our food pantries, any food bank distribution to get food, that took tremendous courage, and we want to call that out. We want to help to advocate for the families to be in a position where they're not going to need it. That might mean that they need more affordable housing. That might mean, right, minimum wage becomes a factor. If you're working 2 full-time jobs, but both of them are paying you minimum wage, you likely can't pay your rent. And we want to help our families and our communities get stronger. And it would be our greatest joy to work ourselves out of a job. And then we'll come to work with you guys. We'll come be your employees. And one of the ways that we're doing that includes these food and fun drives. During the pandemic, we started virtual fun drives. And that has actually been really helpful. And it's kind of been fun for people to go on and maybe for their $10 donation, $20 donation, maybe they want to donate $20 every single month through Fight Hunger Hui. They're able to actually go on and say, you know what, fresh produce matters to me. I'm going to say I want to donate this amount because my food bank buys things like apples or acquires apples from our Pacific Northwest food bank partners. And you're able to go through and see the kind of representative food that we buy. We're going to get a little bit more detailed now. First, let me stop and ask, are there any questions? I went through a lot. I talked about how we work, who we are as food banks, the ways that we get food in, the ways that we get it out, some of our specialty programs, and what our priorities are. Any questions? I went fast. There's also our neighbor island food banks are also on the call. If anybody has any questions, raise your hands, unmute yourself. I will give it. I heard once you should always give things 7 seconds of silence. So we'll do that now. Okay. If you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Tammy's monitoring the chat as we go forward. Jen, Tisha, Michelle, Chelsea, other people are on the call who are also able to answer. Let's talk about coalitions. So coalitions are an incredible thing that happens with the food banks. And coalitions is when different organizations or departments that usually operate in silos or are business competitors join together for a cause that is greater than anyone could ever help manage. And that is this coalition, the Credit Union Coalition. Look at all of these incredible organizations who serve different communities. And you've all joined together because hunger in Hawaii is not okay. It is not okay for a single child to go to bed hungry or for an adult to ever remember doing that. And we just really want to thank you for joining together to be a strong coalition moving forward into this food drive. There's a couple of different things. I'm going to ask Tammy to move over 2 slides, please. Thank you. One more. Thanks. So I want to talk about what happened last year. Last year, this coalition had a goal to raise $50,000. And what you did was raise nearly $70,000, but also donate nearly 11,000 pounds of food. What you did was help us to bring in the resources to provide food for about 157,000 meals. And the way that we can do that is we have a couple of ratios that we can apply. And so we do that, and money is different than food. Money, the multiplier is 2.15 for every dollar, 2.15 meals for every pound of food. It takes 1.2 pounds of food to equal a meal. So we're able to do that. You can see the breakdown within the coalition of how it broke down, because I don't know about you, but for me, I'm always like, well, yeah, but what did we do? And this helps to answer that question. So we worked with the coalition leadership on what do the credit unions want to do for this year's goal. And the next slide has it. This year, you guys want to double up. You want to say we can raise $100,000 and we can bring in 20,000 pounds of food. If you guys do this, that is a tremendous goal. I know you can do it. I have absolutely every faith in you. But you will be providing nearly 250,000 meals for our community. That is tremendous. There's a couple of ways that you can do it. We're now going to walk through some of the details. I know that some of you are new, and Tammy tells me some of you are experienced veterans. So this will be familiar to you. First, we're going to show you how to set up your page, your mobile cause page, and then what you can do to promote that. So when you set up your page and you go to mobile cause, one, it's still mobile cause. Oh, and tell me when you turn it, you will see that we used the Bankers Coalition as the base for this. I'm sorry, we forgot to change that. But you will see this link. This link will go directly to the page that you need. And from there, you are going to select become a fundraiser. That's going to help to set it up for your particular credit union. And on the next slide, you're going to see what that looks like. So we want to show you what each slide looks like, and then this will be available. We'll make sure that that you guys have it. So as you're going through, you're able to refer to the slide so that you've got all of the information. So you're going to see the information that you need to become a fundraiser. When you fill all that out and you say, I want to become a fundraiser, you're going to see this confirmation. Oh, yeah, that's the confirmation. You're going to see it. So I will also tell you that Mobile Cause has actually been bought out by Give Smart Fundraise. So, and they're working on moving things over. Right now, you'll still see Mobile Cause, but if you see something that says Give Smart Fundraise, just know it is the same company. One of the things that is important to us and why we chose them as our partner, Tammy, go back. Please, thanks. You see in that bottom right-hand corner on that slide, it says it's PCI compliant. That is just because we want to make sure that there are as many security and privacy protections as possible. It's part of why we selected Mobile Cause as our partner. Thanks, Tammy. You're going to see different links. So this will be that confirmation. You will see that link to your page. You'll also see a text to give number for your page, your credit union page, as well as that link. And when you're able, then you're able to go in. So let's say you click it, you go in, now you're able to personalize it and you can put your credit union's logo. You can set, you know what the overall coalition goal is, but you're now able to set yours. You're able to share that personalized message and then you're able to hit save. The next slide will show you what you will get. So now you're able to see the fruits of that labor. You're able to see your goal. You're able to see some promotional items and you're able to then share it. You've got till September 30th for the conclusion of your campaign. So that is the mechanics of setting up your credit union's food drive page. Any questions? Okay. We now want to talk about how to market your campaign within your credit union, within your stakeholders, constituents, partners. And you will see the top 5 items. Number 1, monetary donations is always going to be key because simply it's the math. $1 equals 2.5 meals. It would take 2 pounds of food to equal that same meal. So you will see, here's what we purchase the most. That's why it's on the most needed. It's on the most needed because this is what our partner agencies come in and acquire the most, with the most frequency and the most quantity. It's those canned proteins, those canned meals. Meals would be things like chili, spaghetti, things like that. It's this canned produce, fruits and vegetables, as well as those bags of rice. You will notice that the bags of rice, that recommendation is smaller. And the recommendation is smaller because we have incredibly competitive credit unions. And one thing, as different departments or different branches were competing, is folks were going to Costco and buying that 50-pound bag and pulling it out, like win that competition. But a 50-pound bag, we don't have a clean room. And that means that we're not able to take that 50-pound bag and break it up into smaller 10-pound bags to give a family. So it's our meal provider partners. We have meal providers like Salvation Armies, Adult Rehab Center, IHS, River of Light, they all provide hot meals. They can come in and take that 50 pounds, but it is sometimes it's a lot for a family. So we request, it says 2 to 5, but a 10-pound bag is fine if you want to bring that in or encourage folks to bring in. We also have some digital posters that you can download. We also have some hard copies that would be able to give you, but it wouldn't have that customized bottom portion that you see that has all of our logos and talk about it. And then depending on if the folks that you are working with love Max Holloway. Max Holloway is a hero to Hawaii, and or Ashley Nagaoka or Coach Robin from UH Women's Volleyball. They are here. We also have some digital assets that you're able to use. You can see for your social media, if you're doing internal, maybe you're doing weekly check-ins to say how you're doing, you're able to get that in a wide variety of formats. We also have some marketing templates. Sometimes people have called and they were like, I don't know what to say, help us. So we put together some stuff. You are by no means bound to these, but please know they're available. And also if you have questions and you're like, I want to tweak it this way, or I really want to talk about produce, then let us know. Oops, I just saw that we've got COVID-19 misspelled. We will fix that before we send this back to you. Then let us know. We're happy to help walk you through anything that you want. So now you've got the assets. What's next is to work with your teams. If you've got a couple of folks, or maybe there's one branch that they're the food drive coordinators for this year, maybe the branch wants to put together a team, and one person's working on communication, another person's working on the assets, one person's working on, word of mouth encouragement. It all kicks off on August 1st. So that's going to give you 2 months for this food and fun drive. We've also been asked, is it okay to talk to the members? Yes, there's no restriction from us as to whether or not you can share with your members. That is a decision your credit union makes. There's also some opportunities to do things together as a group with your credit union, your branch, or whatever delineation that you want. Food Drive Day is August 27th. We're going to be at 4 different sites in person. So you know that the last 2 years we have done a virtual food drive. It has kept everybody safe and healthy. We are still doing that this year, but we're adding 4 in-person components because we know some people still want to do things online. Some people really want to see other people. We're trying to do that hybrid mix this year, and we're really looking forward to being able to do so. So you might say, oh, I have this much already. It's almost a month into my food drive. I'm going to drop some off. You're welcome to do that. Just make sure you mark any bags, boxes, or if you want to drop off the donations that you receive, everything needs to be labeled, and Tammy and Jen can help you guys with that. You can also, if you want to, if it's on a Saturday, let's say you're not working and you guys want to come out as a group and help us, you are welcome to do so. We have our sign up form. It is up already. You're absolutely able to do that. We highly encourage that. But you might say, well, we want to do a team bonding and we want to do something that's not a special event. You're also welcome to help us inspect food, help us to make sure that the food that comes in is going out safely. You can reach out to volunteer at hawaiifoodbank.org and we will get you set up. We will also connect you to the folks if you are looking to volunteer on Kauai, somewhere in Maui County, or for the food basket. We will connect you up with the right people. One of the other ways that you can help support is every single year, Hawaii Food Bank does a shirt, and we offer that shirt for sale. This is the shirt. It's so comfortable. You are welcome to sign up and to do it. We do ship, and And you can see that additional charge is there. If you wanted to come and do it, you're taking it from, maybe you're taking it to a neighbor island, or you're taking it to back to the continent, and you just want to pick it up, you're also able to do that. I know that that's far away. The next slide's going to show you detail in the design, and you will see that this was all put together by artist Danny Schlag, really focusing on the beauty of Hawaii and its agriculture. We love that shirt. Oh, I should have worn it today. I did not. I want to make sure this is a statewide food drive. So I want to make sure you got the contact information for everybody that you need. So you can see Maui County is on, Chelsea Ham is on this call right now. West Pereira is on. I saw that Michelle Pinoki and Tish Remigio is on this call. And then there are 2 warehouses on Hawaii Island. So there is a warehouse in Hilo where Sarah is the contact, and there's a warehouse in Kona where Marshall is the contact. And you'll have this, or we're also able to, you can just let us know and we will put you in contact. If you want to have a warm introduction directly to folks. Oh, I also see Marshall's on the call. So we're also, if you want us to directly connect you to Marshall or Chelsea or Tish, we're happy to do that. This is such an incredible team, and the work that Maui Foodbank and the Food Basket, Hawaii Foodbank Hawaii is doing is incredible. I wish I could say that hunger only affects part of our state, but it does not. There are food insecure folks on every single island, and we're all working individually and collectively to take care of that need. The Oahu contacts are on the next page. Jen Onishi is new to our staff, so if you are a food drive coordinator last year, you will see that she is new. She started with us a few months ago, but Jen has had a lot of experience with corporate relations and partnerships, about a decade of it. Tammy's on, you know, she's been here for a number of years. I want to first ask if there's any questions, and then second, I want to give the opportunity for our neighbor island partners to say a few words. Any questions? I'm gonna wait my 7 seconds. Okay, Chelsea, are you able to say hi? Anything that you want to?
Hi.
Anything that you want to point out for Maui County?
I think we have such a great relationship with our credit unions on Maui already. So we're looking forward to this. And I know each one of the different branches always reach out, so I'm not worried.
Excellent. Marshall, I don't see if Sarah's on. Marshall, do you want to speak for the Food Basket?
Hello, can you hear me?
We hear you just fine.
Yeah, I don't know why, but my audio is not working on my computer right now. But anyway, I mean, because we are on the Big Island of Hawaii, do I have to go out to the neighbor credit union to ask them to help us out on the Big Island?
Well, this is the food drive for the Credit Union Coalition. So the credit unions are already attached. Okay. So just so you know, Marshall, you and Sarah, some credit unions may be contacting you directly because the food would go directly to you guys. And then the monetary donations would also go to you. So if they do it on this page, you know, we're going to send it over. Actually, I should clarify that. So for Hawaii Food Bank, we strongly believe that what's raised on an island should stay on an island. So when donations come in and we see a Maui address, because I'm looking at Chelsea, we will send it there. If we see a Hawaii Island address, we send it over to the Food Basket. And then we also just double check with each of these partners to see if anything's been done directly, so that when Tammy and Jen are working on all of the reporting, they have everything individually and collectively that has happened. So Marshall, the credit unions, they'll reach out to you and Sarah.
Okay, well, that sounds good. Thank you.
Mhm. Tish, Michelle, anything from Kauai?
Hi, everybody. I just want to thank all the credit unions for jumping on and being able to do this for the Hawaii Food Bank. Unfortunately, on Kauai, most of the credit union coalitions are not for us. It's for the Kauai Independent Food Bank. But we welcome anybody who wants to jump on and help us. You can give us a call.
Super. Thanks, Michelle. That was a lot. For the first time coordinators, any questions? Anything you want to go over a little bit more? Anything, any slide you want to re-see? Any specific question for any of the partners? Perfect. Well, we are available for any questions. Tracy, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Laura. You're right. That was a lot of information, but it was great information to see how the monies that's raised and the foods that collected will be shared with our communities. And I think that's important. Our coordinators will be able to share that with their staff as they start to get together. I was trying to read Tammy's chat, but I know that Tammy had forwarded me the slides previously, so I will get that out to everybody.
Tracy, can you wait till we send you a corrected one?
Yes, I will
Okay,
wait.
thank
till
you.
I get a corrected one. And again, this was recorded because there was a lot of information, so it will be shared with you so that, you know, if you want to share it with your team, or if someone in particular wants to review it or kind of see where the monies are going to, it will be made available. I think this last year was the first time we tried the statewide, and it worked on the for the mobile donations, where neighbor islands were able to designate the food bank or food basket on their island and, you know, use the marketing resources that way as well. And we have some of our large credit unions that have branches on the neighbor islands, so that really helped out as well. So I want to thank everybody for your time. I know we went a little bit over, but thank you so much. And I wish you all the best in a very successful campaign, and that we can reach our goal of $100,000. Just a little side story, but the first time we got asked, the credit unions were asked to join the coalition, I went to the meeting and I felt like the new person on the block. So everybody was out to challenge me, like, you know, so the bankers came and said, you want to challenge, you know, for lunch? I said, okay, but you know, you guys are really big. And so I took on the lawyers, you know, and we won. So I was so happy that we raised more than the lawyers, because, you know, I figured they had deep pockets and it would be hard. But so I bought lunch for the bankers, and then I got lunch from the lawyers. So it worked out okay. So have a great afternoon, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.